If you watched my previous videos about Belarus, you may already know that it has a beautiful capital city and awesome blue lakes. But let's be honest, it wouldn't be a European country without castles. And so, of course, there are plenty of castles around. Two of them happen to be close enough to Minsk for a nice day trip, and so, of course, we were asking ourselves, are they worth visiting? Let's go see. The first one is about 1.5 hours away from Minsk, next to a city called Nesvizh. Believe it or not, even in winter you do have sunny days over here in Belarus, and that is the perfect weather to get out, for example, to the Nesvizh Castle. Looks pretty nice with the water all around it, and let's go in there and take a look at it.
Hello! This is Nesvizh Castle. Let's say Nesvizh Palace. It belonged to a very old, ancient family. They were called Radivili. In Russian, Radivili. This was built for protection. It has a river all around it. They really like this castle. The other castle that we're gonna see, Mir Castle, also belonged to them. But they considered this one their favorite, even though this wasn't their residence. This wasn't their residence. It was mostly for... I actually don't know why they considered this the main place if they didn't even have an apartment here.
Because it has a restaurant.
Maybe because of that. So yes, it was built in the 16th century. Definitely was destroyed and rebuilt 50 million times because it was built for war. It was the times where everyone would attack this region of Belarus, I would say, before it wasn't even Belarus. As you can see, it's still standing. Or it was rebuilt. Who knows? It's still being built and renovated to this day.
By the way, if you wondered what makes this weird sound, it's this over here. And it's basically going with the winds. There's a lot of wind here, so don't be fooled by all the sunlight. It's still very, very cold outside. Now that we've seen it from the outside, let's see if we can get inside somehow. As you can see, such a lot of this castle is still beautifully intact. They beautifully kept everything the way as it was back then. So it's truly some kind of time capsule to be in here. Let's see what the other floor got, and then we move on to the next castle. Castle review.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. So apparently that was the uglier one of the two that we're visiting.
Let's not call it uglier. We call it not as awesome as the other one, but this one is also awesome.
It is, definitely. Pretty excited what's going to come next, if that one's going to be even more awesome. Our second castle is just a 30-minute drive away from the first. Welcome to the beautiful city of Mir, and you won't believe how this castle is called. The Mir Castle. Already from outside you can see this is a very pretty castle. Isn't that so?
I can't see.
It already starts with these beautiful trash cans, which are in the style of cannons and have alcohol bottles in it. It's technically the castle of the world.
Yes, technically.
Something like that.
This castle was built by a person who needed to get a Graf title. You know, Graf? Is that an English word?
I don't know, it's a German word.
Okay.
This right here.
Anyway, yeah, so in order to get this title, he needed to have a castle in his town. So he decided to build a castle that is a brick castle. So he was building it for protection. So he built a normal, nice castle. But then his whole family and everyone, like within 40 years, everyone somehow died. So there was no one to inherit this castle. And he gave it to his cousin, who was Radziwill. So he took it and decided to make it his residence. Again, I said this word incorrectly, so you can leave it. He made it his residence, so he started renovation, modernization, everything to this castle, instead of being just a soulless protection site. But he didn't finish it, because then the Nesvizh Castle was built, and he decided that it's a cooler castle than this, and decided to live there and have this as his vacation castle, you know? So let's go see.
Totally relatable kind of things to have your vacation castle and the castle you're living in. We're now gonna enter like the courtyard of the castle. Wow, okay.
It's nice.
It is, it is. So this one is how you've already seen it from the outside. But a few more years ago, like in 1949, it was looking something like this, but it was built even before that. So if we go here, a whole different thing. Yeah, claustrophobics look away. Very huge steps. I don't know if you can see that. That's something else. But you know, people were smaller back then and everything. So maybe those steps were even worse for them. Can't complain. So if you're interested in the First and Second World War, then this is still very much interesting for you. If you're looking for the views, well, yeah, you can see the city a little bit, but probably better views from somewhere else. All the way down again. Scary. Yep, and here we are. What do you think? This kind of ceiling?
Can we have it at home?
Probably cost a lot and also took a lot of effort to do this one, but it's incredible. Just your average kind of dining room right here. You do have a lot of space in those castles. Definitely. You really just got to be aware of the dimensions of all of that. If you look down here, you can literally see it goes from there all the way up there. Like, this is all kind of one floor. There you can see how thick the walls are, but it's crazy. This is still original, fantastic, and lots of space, of course, for the museum. Now we went all the way down to the basement with pumpkins. And here we are. Here we got the goods. And just like that, you end up in prison. What did you do? Tell us, before I throw a tomato. So our prisoner was released very soon, or released herself very soon, because there was no locks on this thing. So now it's time to go to the exact opposite of this, from the basement all the way to the top on one of the towers, and we're gonna see what kind of view we get from there. In case you've already missed them, steep steps. There we go. We can get even higher, but that also already works. You got a beautiful view on all of the inside courtyard of the castle. And now we can walk along all of those walls you see right here. And over here, you can see the front of the castle. It's very windy up here. Time to climb the next ones. Some of these corridors are real death traps over here. You really gotta watch your step. Those are already, we have my arm for reference. So like my whole lower arm, the height of one of those steps. And we're still gonna make it somehow over there. See you on the top, I guess. Whew, there you go. Another floor right here with very small windows. Beautiful. And over here, this is the view into the other direction. We have a little lake over there, small island, and the rest of the castle. As you can see, the windows are pretty narrow and pretty small over here. There's still another floor above this one, and I think that's the highest, but to be honest, the view is basically the same as on this floor. The windows are just as tiny, so like imagine the guards or whoever was going on top of this all the time and down. If you had some beer, some good old Alivaria, then this is not the thing for you to do. All right, back on the balcony, back outside. What an adventure. Okay, enough steep steps for one video, I would say. So that was a quick overview of 2 castles over here. In the whole Belarus, there would be still about 25 other castles. The Radziwiłł family also owned 4 more castles, one of them being in Belarus as well, 2 in Lithuania and 1 in Ukraine. But if you already enjoyed the castles in this video, give it a like. If you have any questions on what you saw on here today, you can either write a comment down below or direct message me on Instagram. The link to that is in the description. In the next video, we're gonna take you on a festival. Well, it might not really be that kind of festival you may think of now. It has nothing to do with music, but if you're curious, go subscribe to this channel to not miss out on the next video and ring the notification bell to really not miss out on the next video. That being said, thank you so much for watching. Nelvando signing out. Roll the outro.